Welcome to another OSW live event. We are here for Rust Out tonight, which should prove to be a very, very nice show. Glad you guys are here. Looks like we've got a nice number of viewers. So, should all have fun together tonight. We'll see what happens with it. You know, this is a little bit ad hoc thrown together, so let's just jump into this show. Hopefully I opened it up early enough to where all the images loaded, because sometimes every once in a while I have issues with that, but hopefully everything works. We're just going to jump in here and see what all we find out tonight. We've got four matches, I think. 4 matches, 4 title matches, a Rewind Championship match, that probably has a stipulation that I can't remember, a Tables, Ladders, and Chairs Tag Team title match, a 6-pack challenge for the VHS Championship, and, well, there went my voice, and a fatal 4-way for the world title and double feature title, so I guess there's 5 titles on the line. Oh, we'll see, Alex, we'll see. You can't really say, I hope you're finally ready to lose their title, since you're facing me for the VHS Championship, and I just got it. It's not a finally thing. Now, if you're talking about those tag straps, we'll see. All right. No Powerade tonight. We don't have any. I'm drinking a gas station Mountain Dew, so that's the drink of choice for the evening. Thank you for those bits, Matt. Yes, let the Jet Set folks take care of that. So let's jump into the show. Rust Out. Let's do it. Let's see what we've got. I do know, just from having seen the creative call sheet, there are a metric shit ton of segments for the evening, so you'll certainly get your fill of everything. Episode 258 of our weekly events. Today being the 6th, this show technically takes place on the 7th. Start off with a segment between Sandman and Voynich. Don't get down on yourself, Damo. There's always a chance. The segment is entitled Goodbye. Once again, we've got the Sandman, we've got Voynich. Let's see what's up. Click. Static covers the screen. Our play symbol appears in the bottom right-hand corner. We're here for the Championship Special Edition of Fuck the World, FTW, our weekly show name. We open in the backstage area. We've got Voynich storming towards the doors, his bag over his shoulder. He's looking to make a hasty exit when suddenly the Sandman blocks his path, and he says, "Going somewhere?" He's asking this ominously. I think everything the Sandman does is ominous, to be perfectly honest. He's got that OSW Championship over his shoulder. Oh, excuse me. I just ate. Voynich says, "I'm leaving." The Sandman replies, "So I can see, but the question is, why?" Voynich can't sidestep, can't go around him. He says, "What does it matter to you? I'm not coming back tonight, maybe ever. That makes your championship defense easier, doesn't it?" Ooh, is Voynich leaving? Sandman tilts his head, surprised. "Is it you?" he asks. "What?" Voynich replies. The Sandman says, "Are you a snake? Your introduction into our championship match happened because Viper Roberts suggested it. Putting 2 titles on the line instead of 1, now you're leaving. Is Voynich the secret snake?" The best-kept secret snake, as a matter of fact, shakes his head in disgust. "You think I'd work for Viper Roberts?" Sandman's response, "It stands to reason. If he demanded that you leave to make his odds of winning a title more favorable, then you going would make sense, would it not?" "Think what you want," Voynich responds, pushing past Sandman's towards the door, or almost does. Voynich says, "I'm leaving, and I'm not coming back tonight. Period." And he storms off. So, Voynich is gone. It looks like our fatal 4-way 2 championship extravaganza of a main event is down at least one man. Voynich has left the building, and he's not coming back. So are we going to see a triple threat 2 championship extravaganza of a main event later on? I think ECW did a match like that once. Let's see, what's up first? We've got some dude on the left I don't recognize, but judging by that axe in his hand, he might be our mystery man from the thing that happened at Revolt. And of course, we have got Cronoa, I guess is how you say that. The Dark Tower is this segment is entitled. This poser is really nice. I really like that. Great work, Dean. We're backstage. At the end of Revolt, a man appeared in the middle of the ring, unaware where he was or why. He was wearing armor, he looked exhausted, and now he sits on a bench looking at the floor, his large axe sitting beside him, keeping him company. When a voice suddenly interrupts his silence, it's Cronoa, who says, "You don't belong in this place." The man's head slowly rises, showing his grizzled face. "You're correct, but how would you know?" She takes a careful seat beside him and says, "Old school wrestling is an anomaly in and of itself. It shouldn't exist." Okay. "The way you arrived, neither should you. What's your name, traveler?" It's an interesting line. Okay. This character's name, he says, "My name is Lord Nafulmger." I feel like there's a way to say that it's just going to smoothly roll out. I just am not getting it. Nafulmger. Yes. Anyway, of Castle Gar Ronan, sworn liege to the King Gemphion, the 18th of Elsgardia. Cronoa nods. You know, I'm in the middle of reading through Lord of the Rings. You'd think I'd be good at saying some weird names right now. Nafulmger. Nafulmger sounds good. Nafulmgir. That sounds Nafulmgir. I was putting the wrong emphasis. So Nafulmgir responds, "I returned from the Great War to find my castle in ruins and my family held captive by Gorgoranth. He told me that I must ascend the legendary 42 floors of his dark tower if I ever wanted to see them again. I remember each floor of that ascent, but floor 42 eludes my memory. That's when I awoke here. The Harbinger of Fate stands up, stepping away. I'm afraid the answers you seek aren't here, Nafulmger," she says sternly. That's it. "For this place must be destroyed." Nafulmgir rises to his feet, reaching for his battle axe. "If Gorgoranth sent me here upon completion of the 42nd floor, then you're wrong. You cannot fight fate," Cronoa says, and slowly backs away. "What should have been will always be, and if you were sent here, it wasn't for answers, it was to be destroyed." Nafulmgir grimaces, screwing up his nose. I will never halt my quest to find them. If you wish to destroy this place, you will have to go through me." Cronoa responds, "Very well," and we cut away. Nafulmgir. Okay. I got close. Nafulmgir. All right. Well, good to have you back, Adam. Glad you're here. That you always pick some interesting names, I have to say. Great character. I really like. There's some really good lore in here, with all the Dark Tower stuff, and then all the stuff Cronoa said about not being able to fight fate. Excuse me. OSW being an anomaly. So, yeah, great segment. I'm really intrigued to see what becomes of these characters here and what more we have to learn about Nafulmgir. Alex, is it ever possible for you to not be vague in the things you say? I feel like that just amuses me greatly. What's up next? All right, we've got Corvus. We've got Ezreal Grimwolf, A Pirate's Life for Me. Backstage, we've got Israel Grimwolf swaggering down the halls, the hints of a smirk tugging at his pirate mouth. Suddenly he stops and the smile gets wider. "You don't need to hide, me hearty," he says. Corvus melts out of the shadows and into view. He says, "I don't hide, Grimwolf. I watch, and I take note." Grimwolf's response, "Oh, is that so? Well, matey, tell an old seafaring captain what notes you've noted this time." Corvus returns the smirk Grimwolf had on his face. Says, "Stop playing games, Israel. You're the snake. You're the one who took up Viper's offer." "I know it." Israel looks more bemused by this accusation than anything. "Well, if you know it, then old Grisriel Grimwolf is done for. Lock me in the brig and melt down the key for a tankard." Grimwolf offers his hands out in mock surrender. "No? Seems like the least thing you'd do would be to have some evidence before accusing me, landlubber." "You were uncharacteristically quiet last week, pirate," Corvus responds. "I've never seen your mouth closed up for so long." "Put up or shut up, boy. What are you going to do about it?" Grimwolf fires back. Corvus isn't smirking now as he squares up to Grimwolf. "You've been selling the seven seas for hundreds of years, looking for loot to plunder. You don't take no for an answer, you just take what you want and forget anybody else. Well, I'm looking for a bounty of my own, but my bounty isn't gold or jewels, it's the truth, and I won't stop until I get it, even if it takes me across all seven seas. Till I get that truth, I'll be sailing the good ship Veracity." Corvus melts back into the shadows. "Until then, it's a pirate's life for me." We've still got the accusations going. Who was Viper Robert Snake out of the 8 men who were in the Revolt main event? I love a good mystery, and lots of that mystery play happening right now, trying to figure out who that snake is. Are we going to find out before the end of the night? Who knows? Who knows? But we might get some more information. Everybody's pointing fingers at everybody else, and the only people who really know are the Snake and Viper Roberts themselves, I would say, at this point. See, Zach feels like it's a swerve, and it wasn't anybody in the main event. Okay. Everybody loves a good swerve. Everybody loves a good swerve. Yes, Sam, that is a great line. Great dialogue in here. Great dialogue in both the segments thus far. Well, I might be wrong, Alex, but I thought that it was implied or said that it was one of those 8 people from the main event that was the Snake. But I could be wrong on that. I could have misread. Or just read somebody's feedback and thought I missed something. I don't know. All right, we've got a match. Our first title match of the evening. We've got the Generation Kid, TGK, the Phenom, against Sir Bellator for the Rewind Championship. In a steel cage match. I knew there was a stipulation. I was forgetting on it. We start off with a great question. Does someone's beliefs give them the right to judge others? In Vaikra's mind, Rainbow Party are feckless sinners. Ooh, feckless. Yet the wounds of the attempted crucifixion are too fresh for the Generation Kid to listen to what this zealot has to say. Can the Generation Kid gain revenge for the brutality he and his friends have been put through? Or will Bellator finally make him a sacrifice to Yahweh? Okay. Great stuff going on. Yeah, I don't know if I've seen Frank here. Our bell sounds. We've got TGK. He rushes in full force across the ring, driving Bellator into the steel mesh with a huge running drop kick to the jaw before he mounts the fallen Bellator. Raining down lefts after rights that the Templar can barely defend against. The frustration of what Vaikra's done to TGK and his friends boiling over in the young man's mind as he peels Bellator up off the mat, gripping him by the mask, and throwing him face first into the steel mesh. Bellator bounces off, groggy on his feet. TGK rushes in. Doc Brown's no. Bellator sidesteps it, and TGK spears square ass into the cage wall. His skull bounces off the steel as a small cut opens up on his forehead, which Bellator makes even worse with a brutal super kick to the dome. That's one. TGK slams hard to the mat. Bellator drops down, mounting TGK and paying him back, rights and lefts. He's trying to open up the cut on the kid, even more before lifting him up onto his shoulders. He lawn darts the kid right into the steel. TGK crashes to the mat. Blood is dripping down his face. Bellator backs up. He sizes up the kid for a moment, rushes in, standing, shooting star press, right on TGK's goddamn face. Bellator. I mean, because of who Bellator represents, isn't it literally a goddamn face? Just think about it. Bellator nearly crushes TGK's skull there. His knees possibly broke his nose even more with a casual cover. One. No. Right at two, TGK gets the shoulder up. You're not going to get it that easily. There's still a ton of fight left in the kid. Bellator back up to his feet. Backing up. TGK slowly rises up to his feet. Super kick. That drops the kid down to one knee as Bellator rolls back, looking to turn the wishes of TGK very dark indeed. Kneeling super kick, but no, the kid catches it. Bellator tries to get away. TGK stares daggers through the blood, delivering a brutal headbutt that paints the pink mask blood red before bellowing, "Nobody calls me yellow." The belly-to-belly suplex shades of Marty McFly. TGK doesn't cover. He backs up as the Templar gets up. Doc Brown's DeLorean, the massive spear, nearly turns Bellator inside out. But as Bellator goes down, TGK flips him around. He bends him backwards with a backslide pinfall. Sir Bellator got sent back to the future with the McFly trilogy. The ref's down for the pin. One, will this be it? Two! No! Bellator just gets the shoulder up. TGK's a house of fire. He's pounding down lefts and rights. The Templar finally ducks under a wild right, hits the ropes. Super kick, but it has no effect. Another one. TGK is no-selling it. He's generationing up. He's powering up, the full power of the 80s flowing through his veins. He blocks a third super kick. He sends Bellator staggering back with a right hand, then a left. He backs him into the ropes before sending him flying across the ring. Bellator rebounds. TGK lifts up. Wax on, Bellator, you asshole. The crane kick to the face. That may well be it. TGK drops down into the cover. He has been beating the ass of Sir Bellator. The ref's not counting. He's distracted by two men on the outside. Oh, of course. It's Viagra. They're here to try and steal the victory. Sir Renault is arguing with the ref. He's trying to open the door. Sir Vance on the other side. He slips something into Bellator's hand. TGK gets up. He turns the ref around, telling them it was a cover, but he doesn't see the Templars on his feet behind him. This isn't going to end well. The kid turns back around. Chain shot to the face. The kid drops to his knees, the wound even worse from the steel chain. But Bellator wraps the whole chain around his right arm. He leaps up in the air and locks in the arm of God. Bellator is using that chain to try to rip TGK's arm out of its socket, if not break the damn thing entirely. But the Generation Kid refuses to tap out. Power of the 80s still flows through him. He lifts Bellator up into the air. The Templar still pulling his whole weight down on the arm. TGK rushes forward, delivering a modified powerbomb into the turnbuckles. That loosens the grip, but before Bellator lets go, he drags the chain with him. Pop! The crowd echoes at the sound as TGK screams in pain. That damn Bellator just pulled his shoulder out of the socket, and that may well be the end here for the poor kid. Bellator rushes forward, ducking under a wide left, before drilling TGK with a stiff enziguri to the back of the head. TGK drops down to his knees in a daze before he's lifted up high in the air, a sickening smile on the face of the Templar as he rushes forward. The Yahweh sign, the running crucifix powerbomb into the fucking steel cage. TGK crashes down in a heap. That could be it. Bellator with another lackluster cover. 1, 2, 3. No, TGK kicks out. There's still fight left. Bellator shakes his head. He wants to know what he has to do to end this. He picks up the chain. He wraps it around his fist. He's watching TGK slowly rise and rushes in, right into an excellent adventure. The rock bottom, it hits. That has to be it. TGK doesn't cover, though. He hears the roar of the crowd. He's climbing up the cage. 10 feet, 20 feet, 30 feet in the air. TGK stands up, the crowd chanting his name as he feels the urge to jump into the zone. The motherfucking danger zone. Top Gun Super Splash. TGK nails all of it on the prone Bellator. Just managing to find the strength to stay down for the cover. What a maneuver. The ref makes the count. 1, this has to be it. 2, new champ. 3, a new champion. TGK does it, regaining the Rewind Championship in a sure highlight reel finish for the ages. Winner and new Rewind champion, the Generation Kid. There's your first title change of the evening, ladies and gentlemen. Hottest of dams. Sorry, had to switch scenes for a second so I can edit this. I need to drop camera for a second. All right. What a hell of a match. What a hell of a match. Great finish. I loved everything that I saw there. Congratulations to the now 2-time Rewind champion, the Generation Kid. He's not even been here a month, really. That's awesome. Great stuff. Congrats. Sir Bellator put up a good fight. Hell of a match. Hopefully, this title change doesn't bode poorly for the remaining champions to defend their titles. But we will see. All right. What are we going to go to next? Ooh, look at this. Look at this. We've got Welcome to the Masquerade. And that, it features... Okay, I was right. Not super used to the newer characters' posers yet. Kane Nightlord, Lady Seraphina, Banzan, and Tenshu in this segment. Interesting set of pairings. I know, right? Kane's moving on. Moving on, getting him a new lady. I'm sorry, it's not Lady Seraphina, it's Lucy. I don't know where Lady came from. We open to a locker room with a large desk inside of it. The room's gothic in nature, dark red and black coloring on everything. At the desk, we see Kane Nightlord with a file in hand. I see you've received my message. Lady Seraphina is here. The angelic assassin looks less than pleased to be in the presence of the dark detective. Not that it really sounded like I had much of an option, Kane. Kane scoffs as he puts the folder down. The Hellbat looks at Lucy from head to toe, taking in every detail as his cold eyes scan. Ooh, he's checking her out. Your little stunt the last couple of weeks with Rasputin has caused me quite the headache, he says. Lucy responds, I rather enjoyed myself. I dealt with a problem. Kane rubs the bridge of his nose, frustration clearly written across his face at the Sovereign of Silence. And I've been cleaning up after you behind the scenes. I've had much more important matters to deal with than your little violations. Lucy looks at him quizzically, unsure of what he means. What do you mean? She asks. Kindred, he says, like you and me, have to live by a certain code to keep outsiders from discovering our true nature. My job's to ensure this is the case, by any means necessary. Lucy looks insulted at his insinuation and slams her hands down on the desk. Fangs bared in an attempt to intimidate Kane. The Shadow Bat stands to his feet, towering over Seraphina. I don't need protection, she says. You saw last week just how I can handle myself. I'm not here to debate, Kane roars. The red in his eyes is glowing with fury. I'm not the worst thing that can happen to you, child. I'm just your chance to get yourself out of the trouble you're in before worse comes. You'll either work for me in sorting out another matter, or you'll be left alone with a blood hunt. You choose. Lucy steps back. Clearly, the threat made by Kane has been made clear. Am I understood? He asks. Lucy just nods as Kane relaxes back in his chair. This man is in control. That vampire is in control. Good. You have some use to my bosses. You'll help me and you'll be cleared of your debts to us. Lucy calms her own nerves, her steel returning. What do you need? Kane slides the file he was looking at across the table. These two have caught my attention recently, and I'd like your help to learn more. Lucy lifts the file, the sigil of the Odawara clan and the Tiger's Nest Monastery blazoned on the front. Lucy's eyes glow and a smile creeps across her face as she opens it. Looks like they're going to be going after our favorite monk and cyborg samurai. Well, that should be interesting. Like the interaction here with Night Lord and Seraphina. Very, very interesting. What do we got next? All right. Here we go. We've got Albie Shaw. We've got Wiz. Well, that's true, Zach. Segment Price Check on aisle 5. We've got Albert Shaw. He's walking through the supermarket. No, you didn't hear wrong. That's right. Bright lights, shiny labels, and an annoyed governor doing his shopping, his cart overflowing with beer, raw meat, and all the trimmings. Since when are you an errand boy? A voice calls. Shaw stops in his tracks as he enters an aisle, his eyes fixed on the man leaning on the shelf. It's Wiz. Trip get to you that bad? You got the munchies now? Wiz taunts. Shaw just rolls his eyes and approaches Wiz with bad intentions. Bad motherfuckers gotta eat too. Wiz's response is logical. How do you feed a fire witch and a cyborg? I know what the Hollywood prince needs. Simon gave me a little something he'll like. Okay. Speaking of which, he's got you in his sights now. I'm just keeping watch. Albie gets in breathing range of Wiz, looking him up and down. Our beef's on sight, mate. But a lot of people might get bothered if I leave you bleeding all over the floor. So you got two choices. Move aside, let me get my crisps, and we'll both leave on our feet. Or stay where you are, and I'm the only one walking out of here. Wiz takes a pregnant pause to consider it before scrunching his face and looking over at the shelf. What the fuck are crisps? Wham! Wiz levels Albie with a stiff right hand. Patrons run across the corner, gasping at the display of violence. Wiz just grins and shrugs, if I can talk. Price check for a dumbass on all 5. A clerk runs around the corner, looking at Wiz like he's insane as the purple pelican lifts up Shaw. But the governor punches Shaw in the gut, doubling him over. Gonna have to try harder than that, mate. He grabs a mobile out of his pocket, and Shaw grins at the clerk. Let me make a quick call and I'll take the trash out for you. No charge. He looks down at Wiz, who's ready to fight some more. That only makes Shaw's smile grow even bigger. Oh yeah, the bad motherfuckers are about to eat real good. And we cut away. And we cut away from that. There's a supermarket brawl going on. And Shaw is calling for something. I have a feeling we'll see more of that supermarket later. And not just because I know we're going to, but partially because of that. Next segment. We have got What Remains with Cronoa and the Impaler, or at least just the Impaler in this segment. We're far removed from the confines of the slaughterhouse, and we find ourselves in the ruins of what appear to be a once great city. There are glimpses of its former glory, faded signs that reveal small peeks at what it used to be. Suddenly we hear footsteps from the distance intruding on the slumber of this rusted ghost town. It's the Impaler. Looking around this shell of a metropolis, a mixture of both confusion and concern is evident on Legion's face as he approaches one of these faded signs. Even beneath the layers of dirt and grime, there's enough legible text to discern his whereabouts. Night City. Or at least, what remains. The hustle and bustle was gone from this place a long time ago. A secret kept by the Impaler for what feels like an eternity. A secret that could very well come back to haunt him. As the dread Pirate Roberts of pro wrestling continues to traverse this cityscape, he finds himself replaying Cronoa's final words to him at Revolt. Night City will come blowing back into your life once more. Legion cannot figure out what that means, but he does know one thing for certain. If there's one thing to face, or if there's something to face, better to face it at the source. He moves onward, eventually reaching the power plant, run down, quiet, without so much of a sign of life inside as he pushes the door open with a creak. Taking a peek upon entry, he mutters but a single word. Blackout. The place where it all began. A turning point for the Impaler, and a secret that cannot be revealed. Even by fate. And we cut away. Awesome segment here. Very moody, mysterious. I like all of those things. I think we might be getting to find out a little bit more about what makes the Impaler tick, where he came from, everything to do with Night City. So, all right. Great stuff. Very intriguing. Yes. Very intriguing. Oh! Our second match of the evening. For the tag team titles, the Jet Set Radio pair of Ether and Tag. The Bad Motherfucker pair of Pyre and Zero. Will we see new tag team champions? Or will the Bad Motherfuckers continue their reign? Will Knock Knock 2.0 take the crown? Instead of Knock Knock, they should just be called Who's There? I don't know how that makes any sense, but it amuses me. All right, here we go. Tables, ladders, and chairs. Ether's forced to remember the old adage of be careful what you use for. As Pyre is out of jail and ready to continue making the world burn, starting with the hungry woman. Will she burn Jet Set Radio to mere embers, or will she become the one to starve without gold? Yes, I think that should be Wish. It's BMF versus JSR in a TLC match for the TTC Tag Team titles, or Tag Team Championship. What team will walk out champions? We find out next. The bell rings. The match starts off hot as Jet Set Radio rush the tag champs with studio drop kicks. Zero sent back into the corner. Pyre rolls out of the ring. Ether's on her hands and knees as a base for her partner. Tag would normally be thinking about doing something else when someone presents themselves like that. It's going to be that kind of match. But he sprints and launches off her back. He nails Zero with a jumping knee strike. Zero into the seated position. Tag to the well once more. He launches off of Ether into a cannonball, but no! Pyre tosses a chair into the ring and nails Tag. Icarus's crash landing. Tag is down. Zero pulls himself up. He's got Tag by the throat. Choke slam onto Ether's back. Pyre grabs a ladder, slides it into the ring. She's in the ring after it. Zero helps her set it up in the middle of the ring. They have it set and they're climbing the ladder. Are they going to win that fast? They've made it to the top. They're reaching, but Ether shoves the ladder. Zero crashes to the mat hard. Pyre's got a belt in her hand, hanging on for dear life. She uses the belt. She swings in midair and lets go. Spins midair and cashes Ether with a stunner. The dancing flames. How in the hell did she hit that eclipse? That's a badass spot. Pyre's smiling that wicked smile. She's so proud of herself. Her pride is short-lived as Tag blasts her with a running elbow strike. He starts stomping away on her. Stomp, stomp, stomp. But he's interrupted by a club to the back. What a strike from Zero. Zero whips Tag into the ropes, but Tag handsprings and rebounds with a moonsault. No! Zero catches him midair. Running power slam counters. He's got Tag back up on his shoulder. He's going to try to powerbomb him out of the ring. But no! Tag with a Hurricane Rana. Zero sent through the ropes out of the ring. Tag runs the ropes. Suicide dive. DDT. He spikes Zero on the floor, but how much did that take out of him? All four competitors are down and reeling. Tag pulls himself up. He's trying to figure out what to do next. He gets a table. He slides it into the ring. He hops to the apron and steps between the ropes. He's interrupted with a punt to the face from Pyre. He's hanging out to dry and she pulls him in. He's hanging with his feet on the ropes. Corkscrew neck breaker from Pyre. She grabs the table and leans it up against the corner. She pulls Tag up, leans him against the table. She's in the opposite corner, charges, but no! The pounce from Ether, period. Tag grabs himself, or picks himself up off the table. He pulls Pyre up, got her in the Russian leg sweep position, but he nods at Ether. She sprints and nails her with the Meteora. The Meteora Russian leg sweep combination through the table. Mach 6. This might be Jet Set's Radio's best chance at the title. Tag and Ether both set up the ladder in the middle of the ring. They're climbing it, but not as fast as Zero and Pyre were earlier. They're making it up there, though. Slowly but surely, they got to the top. Their fingers, they're touching gold. Is this it? They're unhooking the belts. After all these months, do we have new tag team champions? No, we don't. Goozled. They didn't see Zero set a second ladder next to them. Double chokeslam off the ladder. Zero is at the top alone. He jumps the first ladder to have a better chance at grabbing the titles. He's reaching. Desperate up kick from Tag to the ladder. The ladder falls. Zero falls onto it. Nasty landing. This match goes on. Pyre pulls herself up. She's got a broken wood shard. She stands over Ether. She's not even focused on winning the match right now. Did you like visiting me there? There's no plastic wall to protect you now, bitch. She drives the table wedge into Ether's forehead. She's cutting her open the hard way. It's not a shank, but it sure is a reminder of who Ether's messing with. Pyre drags the ladder, still standing, to the middle of the ring and starts climbing up. Ether rubs her forehead and licks the blood off of her fingers. But then she laughs. She climbs up the other side of the ladder. They're both at the top, trading blows. They're trading vicious rights. The crowd cheers for Ether and boos Pyre. Yay boo! Yay boo! Yay boo! Tag is behind Pyre. Zero's behind Ether. The backstabber to Pyre. CPU driver to Ether. The burning hammer off the ladder. Holy shit. Pyre and Ether are both down, and Tag and Zero look at each other. They know it's their turn. They rush up the ladder. Tag gets there quicker than Zero and starts throwing down punches. But Zero grabs the back of his head and smashes into the top of the ladder. He pulls himself up to the top. Tag looks back. Zero's now level with him. They're staring daggers at each other. They both know this is where it ends, and so does the crowd. Rapid elbows from Tag. Uppercut from Zero. Headbutt from Tag. Bionic elbow from Zero. It rocks Tag. Absolute Zero. The bionic chokeslam off the ladder. This is it. Zero reaches up and grabs the titles. He has done it for his team. What a brutal match. But Zero has won against a very game Jet Set Radio. Winner and still tag team champions. The Bad Motherfuckers. What a match. Very exciting. Great work to the writer. All right. Hell of a match. Hell of a match. Let's keep on cruising. Gray, good to see you. That's true. Typical wrestling crowds do have short-term memory. Look at this. Segment. Phineas Moody. Seesaw. Titled Under the Big Top. The Nightmare Academy. What are we going to see from them? We're in the toy box. The place nobody wants to be. Seesaw's walking among his many torturous toys, making himself busy. Come one, come all. A whisper on the wind. But as he turns around, the world vanishes around him. First darkness, then a giant tent stretches up and around him, like a circus. Under the big top, Seesaw looks around at the different displays. With no surprise in his eyes, he finds Phineas Moody floating next to him, who says, "Quite an ambitious set of acts you've assembled, my boy." He gestures, and we see various toys moving around as mere shadows, each one a reminder of Seesaw's victims. "I once had my own impressive circus," Moody continues. "Out of the shadows, I plucked people from the outskirts of society. I raised them up to impressive heights." Seesaw's toys stop moving, as does Moody. Carnival peers down into Seesaw's eyes. "That's the difference between you and I, Andrew Fish. Seesaw, whatever you are." He gestures to the shadowy figures around them. "People will never truly fear your monstrosities. You took people, deformed them, twisted them, and made them be what you wanted them to be. False constructs. Capable of destruction, yes, but they will never haunt a man's dreams." Seesaw walks through the shadowed mist, his face scrunched in anger. "Don't you dare talk about my toys like that. They're works of art." Moody nods, just gesturing around them. Works indeed. Look upon my menagerie, boy. Out of the shadows, we see pale shades appear, a bearded lady, conjoined twins, deformed men, broken women, sad children. Can't you see? This is what men fear. Those who are different, who are more than their preconceived notions of humanity. As long as you make it a show, they'll laugh and watch and wonder. But the moment you try to make them equals, the mask comes off. Seesaw's face paint seemingly vanishes, leaving his pale face bare. Men are men. There's no covering that up, Fish. Do you understand? The face of Andrew Fish looks up at the floating Phineas Moody. Rage burns in his eyes, so deep that you'd become lost in them if you stared long enough. I do. No matter what I do, they come for me. Out of concern, hatred, or even pity. They want to save me. But if they're not trying to enslave me, then they're trying to kill me. Moody smiles, and the face paint once again reappears on Seesaw's face. They always will. Death is the only acceptable end for the ambitious sideshow. But that's only the beginning of the journey. There's much for you yet to learn, Seesaw. Your show will continue. And with a flash, Phineas Moody, the Shades, the entire Big Top, they all vanish, and Seesaw is left alone in his toy box, the rage still burning in his eyes. And we cut away. What is going on with the Nightmare Academy? What are we going to see Phineas Moody do? What are we going to see Seesaw do? Much more to come in future weeks. All right. What we have next, another segment here. We've got the Sandman, Viper Roberts, and Mordecai. We're in the snake pit. Viper Roberts paces back and forwards inside his office, surrounded by people in black-colored luchador masks. Their identity is clearly being kept secret from each other, even though Viper knows who they are. We have a problem, he says as he paces. The Sandman claims to know the truth. He claims to know how it all began, and I simply cannot abide that. Something has to be done. His first employee says, with all due respect, the Sandman is a supernatural entity, boss. I'm not sure we can stop him. The head snake stops dead in his tracks, whipping his head around. Excuse me? Gulp. He approaches, standing before the masked individuals. The others back away, giving them space. What did you say? I'm sorry, sir. I'm so very sorry. Please accept my sincerest and most heartfelt apologies for speaking out of turn. Roberts just frowns. I've never called a meeting like this before. I've not once risked the identities of my snakes for a problem of any magnitude. The fact that you're stood before me speaks volumes, does it not? The masked man nods. Slash! Shit! Blood suddenly spurts into the face of Roberts, who backs away in a panic. But the blood's isn't red, it's a dark green, almost black. He clutches at his face, pawing the blood away in horror. The masked man's body falls. It wasn't Viper, it was the Sandman. The Sandman has stood ominously behind him with a knife, and he says, I see everything. He lunges forward, and with a gasp, Viper Roberts is awakened in a sweat, realizing that Mordecai now sits next to him. Your secret won't be kept forever, he says. The head snake just gulps. What do you know of my secret? Nothing, Mordecai says, only that if he knows it, you're in trouble. I need to stop him, Roberts says. Mordecai stands up and walks towards the door, turning to look at a distraught Roberts. Then perhaps we have a common ground, he says as he exits, leaving Viper to smile wryly. Zach says he's got a theory. Somehow, Roberts is linked to Jack being a former acolyte or a fanatic continuing his legacy. I've kind of thought that could be the case. I don't know, though. I do not know what we can expect to see with this. There's going to be some kind of link. I just don't know what it's going to be yet. I think we should have one more segment before the next match. We do. Yeah, it does fit the whole tie to OSW thing. I think it would be interesting to see Red River Jack linked here. We know he's alive. He wasn't, we don't have any reason to think he's dead, because he did show up there in the end of Volume 1. All right, we've got our last segment here before the VHS 6-pack challenge. Involves Pyre and Ether. I think it's got more than those in it, but we'll see. It's titled Assistance Required on Aisle 6. I told you we'd be back in the supermarket. We're back at that familiar supermarket where quite a soiree of action has unfolded. People seem to be avoiding one particular aisle of the shop. As a somewhat panicked announcement comes over the PA system, the young clerk's voice breaking as he speaks. Assistance required! Aisle 6! Assistance required! The tango between Wiz and Albert Shaw has spilled out over to the next aisle, a trail of crushed packets of crisps, whatever they are, and biscuits behind them. The voice announces a second time, assistance required on aisle. That's when a pair of figures appear out of the chaos. And Pyre says, assistance is here. Her and Zero walk in the door, Zero pocketing his cell phone as he walks forward. To support Albert Shaw with a wink. They grab Wiz, they force him up against a shelf, spilling toilet paper packets to the floor. Needing the cavalry to save your ass, Albie? His comments interrupted by another voice, as a crumpled packet of crisps is tossed from the floor into view. What the fuck are these? Bam! Zero is blindsided by a charging Ether. The distraction gave her a clean shot. Wham! Pyre's dropped by an incoming tag. Jet Set Radio has dropped. Those bad motherfuckers. Albert Shaw still has Wiz pressed up against the shelf. Ether and Tag are both laying into BMF. The patrons of the supermarket who were once looking on with bemused interest are now beginning to back away. The clerk's voice wails for assistance once more, but is completely drowned out. This is getting out of hand. Yes, those poor supermarket employees. And yes, the Austin Booker T segments may have been a little bit of an influence on these. OSW superstars banned from all supermarkets effective immediately. Yes. All right, before we see the 6-pack challenge, let's make sure I did this right. Look at that damn Death Strike video. That's badass. Dean did great putting that together. That is the Death Strike logo. And we're all looking forward to Death Strike. If you don't have a character in, get you one in. Badass. And I believe, I don't know if that specific music was one of them, but I do know that our very own Mr. Alex Clark is working on some tunes for this. So that may have been one of them. I don't know. We got a 6-pack challenge, though, for the VHS Championship. Hollywood Luke Storm, Cale Gable, Corvus, Death Note, Sigil, and Simon. What a group of wrestlers there. The competition is high. I don't expect to retain the title, but we'll see. Can I go 2-0 tonight, Zach? That's right. I don't know. I don't know that my odds are as good in a 6-pack challenge, just because there are 5 people who could have put out some really great work. Fortunately, I didn't have a chance to give a read here. That is right, Alex. Whoever wins this will have earned it. So let's get this thing started. Who's going to prove to possess the 6th sense required to walk away with the gold? Black and white stripes, the ref. He holds that VHS championship above his head for all to see and salivate over. He hands it over, calls for the bell, it rings, and everybody steps forward. Their eyes dart from side to side warily. But, however, all 5 sets of eyes come to rest on the VHS champ. He's pale and sweaty, but the icon nevertheless smirks and shakes his head. Ah, shit, here we go. He charges into Simon, tackling him to the mat and starts blasting him. The remaining challengers lay the boots into Storm, who doesn't relent, before turning on each other in the fracas. Something I didn't mention here, or I didn't call out. If he's still pale and sweaty, if he's still not feeling well, did that antidote actually work? I think we'll find out later. Gold rush from Cale Gable, though. He rushes Death Note with a spear right out of the gate. He really wants to prove his mettle. Following their exchange at FTW, the Olympian goes to town on the Scribe. Meanwhile, we see a throat thrust and a palm strike. Corvus goes after Sigil, sizing him up for the leaping elbow strike. The murderer crows, but no. Combo breaking headbutt by Sigil. The Collector stuns the assassin with his metal mask. Finite roundhouse kick to the jaw. Corvus hits the mat and Sigil gets to work. Elsewhere, we get a monkey flip by Simon. The Taskmaster kicking the reigning VHS champion off of him. Luke scrambles up, but he falls back down to his knees. Standing over Storm, the smug intellectual chuckles. Feeling a little woozy, champ? He asks. He slaps a side headlock on him, then charges into the corner. Bulldog into the turnbuckle. Tor attack. Noting his opponent's preoccupation, Simon sneakily hooks the legs. 1, 2, new champ? No, Gable breaks it up. The gold medalist grabs Simon right into his patented rear naked choke. Silence is golden. Didn't see that coming, did you, genius? Simon quickly fades. Cale's gonna tap him, but a merciful chop to the back of his neck puts a stop to it. Sigil looms over him. You proved useful at Revolt, but this is my gold medal. He covers him. 1, 2, are we going to see a new champ here? Will he add the VHS title to his champion? Kiss, a freaking death. Death Note changed the ending. Diving, double foot stomp. The man who by rights had the 4-on-4 won for his team gets a measure of revenge. He races into a pin. 1, if he wins. 2, can he beat his 197-day rewind title reign? Snicked! Ah! Death Note rolls off a Sigil. A throwing dagger sticks out of his side. Shades of Wolverine. Meaning the little sound effect there. Pulling the blade out and discarding it, he looks up. Pele kick, the Corvus kick. The Crow into the cover. 1, 2, will the Black Can raise the gold? No! Hollywood Luke Storm hits a Hollywood leg drop. The sickly champ's back up to his feet. Sweat beating off of him and into the canvas. Simon, Gable, and Sigil have all recovered, all of whom now stare him down. Luke puts up his dukes and says, well, what are you waiting for, ladies? Cale advances on him. Lightning doesn't strike. Storm collapses before the super kick can connect. Gable heaves him up. Stalling suplex. The crowd is counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How long can he keep him up? Here comes the cutter. The Puplex, no, Storm on his feet. Cale spins round. Downpour is denied. Sigil has interrupted the code breaker. He bends Luke backwards over his knee. Elbow, elbow, fucking elbow. It's already been a long road for Storm, but he can't look ahead yet. The Realm Walker passes him back to Gable. German suplex. I assume that's counting. 10, count 'em, 10 German suplex. The 10 carat. Having been biding his time, Simon strikes. Of course he was biding his time. The Gambit, the spinning back fist, sacrifices Sigil. The knee trembler, the Catalan opening checks Gable. As if being poisoned wasn't enough of an advantage, the Taskmaster has an incapacitated Luke Storm right where he wants him, but he doesn't want to pin him off of others' handiwork. Though he wants bragging rights. He grabs the leg. He spins round. Figure 4 leg lock. Checkmate. No. Death Note's got him up on his shoulders. Simon's kicking and struggling frantically. Go to sleep. The author of death gathers his soul. Undone by his own hubris, Simon twitches flat on his back. Death Note rises. He instinctively ducks. Thunk! A throwing knife impales the top turnbuckle pad. He looks to see the hidden blade, Corvus, who laughs. You and I could do this forever, he muses. The former partners known as Creeping Death face off. Blackhand's blade is sandbagged. Death Note avoids the RKO by grabbing the top rope. Corvus darts back to his feet. Death Note hoists him up on his shoulders. The god of the new world means to bring Corvus into a world of pain. Make a wish, he taunts. The burning hammer. Death Note grants Corvus his dying wish, and he makes a deep hook. This has to be it. 1, 2. But can Death Note get his wish? 2.9. He runs his hands through the air in disbelief, or through his hair in disbelief. Death Note's back up to his feet. He motions for Corvus to do the same. But they're soon joined by Sigil, Gable, and Simon. The exhausted challengers circle one another warily. The VHS title glistens and winks at each of them from ringside. All 5 men throwing down in a frenzy of fists. 5 men? This is a 6-pack challenge. Amidst the melee, the VHS champ Luke Storm flops through the ropes and onto the apron. Pulling himself up, he forces his foot onto the middle turnbuckle, willing himself to climb. Scaling the ropes, the bad motherfucker looks to the heavens as opponents turn to see. Thunder! The top rope moonsault clears house. Tangled limbs and bodies on top of broken bodies. Luke crawls off the pile, clutching his ribs, sick as a dog. This is anyone's for the taking. The field is clear. Storm drags himself up, drenched in sweat and trembling. Simon's the first challenger to his feet. Luke doubles him over with a kick to the gut. Stunner! No! The winds change direction. Simon shoves Luke off. Storm turns around. Simon goes to sweep his legs. Sunset flip. But Luke slips over him. He's pinning him. 1. It's a desperation pin by a poison Storm. 2. The champ to retain. 3. He does. Luke Storm continues his reign. Your winner and still VHS champion, Hollywood Luke Storm, sweating with sweat. Hell of a match. Hell of a match. LOL, Luke Storm wins. Hot damn. What a match. Great work. Sam, I assume that was you? Based off of all the stuff. All right. All right. Well, all we can do is keep on trucking. We've got 1 match left and what I presume to be about 5 segments. So we are trucking probably another 10 to 15 yet. All right. We've got Vaikra, Vigor, TGK, Starboy, the Rainbow Party. In a segment entitled Sir. All right. Are we going to get some information here? We're pitch black. The arena's thrust into darkness. Luke Storm has barely escaped the action with his championship. When the lights come back on, Sir Bellator and Sir Renaud are stood in the middle of the ring. Are they going to go ham on these guys? They go straight on the attack. Renaud drives Sigil into the corner. Shoulder barges to his midsection. Sorry, Sam. I thought was going all over the place. Delivering shoulder barges, that's what Renault's doing, to the midsection of Sigil. Bellator tackles Death Note to the canvas, doing the same. Servant, meanwhile, is sliding steel chairs into the ring. Viker gather them up. Chair shot to Sigil. Chair shot to Death Note. The fans can't believe it, but then they have a reason to cheer. The Rainbow Party are here. Generation Kid, Starboy, Vigor, they storm down the entrance ramp. They slide under the bottom rope. They immediately come toe-to-toe with Viker, who have their equalizers in hand. The odds aren't in your favor. Back off, Generation Kid says. Viker look at one another, and Sir Renault says, carry each other's burdens, and so you will fulfill the law of Christ. Sir Bellator finishes Galatians 6:2. The Rainbow Party have no idea what the fuck any of that means. Vigor looks at Starboy, who looks at TGK, they all shrug. Rise, sir. Oh shit, we're going to find out who the 3rd sir is. Or I guess 4th. We get pitch black again. The arena is thrust into darkness. And this time when the lights come back on, Vigra aren't alone. They still stand opposite with the Rainbow Party, steel chairs in hand, but there's someone stood behind them, wearing a red version of Bellator and Renault's uniform. Who's it going to be? Chair shot to the back of Vigor's skull. Bellator lunges at the Generation Kid. Wham! Renault takes out Starboy. The Rainbow Party have been decimated. So maybe we're not going to find out who it is. We'll get their name, I'm sure. All 3 members of Viagra start slamming steel chairs down on the Rainbow Party. They're beating the holy hell out of them with every single shot. Finally, the Red Sir walks over to Death Note, places his chair under his throat, pulling him back to his feet. Sir says, you should have told me what I wanted to know. Oh shit, is this going to be... He slams Death Note's chair and throat onto the canvas, jarring the chair right into his gullet. Is this going to be Voynich? As Death Note writhes in agony, the unknown Sir takes off his match. No! It wasn't. It was Cale Gable. Cale Gable has joined Viagra. Of course he has. Who's the third man? It's that son of a bitch, Cale Gable. That son of a bitch, Cale Gable. He stands aligned with Bellator and Renault, mask in hand, watching on as Sir Vant claps enthusiastically at ringside. And we cut away. Gable. He's going to say his prayers and eat his vitamins. What a move. A new member of Vaikra. He used to be such a nice boy. I feel like Isaac Danvers would be so happy to see what's happened to him. He's aligned. What an awesome finale. What do we have next? Oh, hell. I didn't expect to see more of these. These folks, we've got Kane Nightlord, Lucy Serafina, Banzan, and Tenchu. Are we going to get more to do with them? Bushido. Previously recorded, after Revolt. Tenchu is in front of a shrine with the Odawara clan symbol. The weight of his loss clearly weighing on his mechanical shoulders. Yeah, Dawson definitely saw it coming. 100% saw it coming. Whenever he's done with his D&D game, he's going to be like, yeah, I knew it. Tenchu says, I have failed you, Sensei. All your training, all your programming, and yet I am not what you envisioned all those years ago. From the entrance enters a mountain of a man. Banzan. I know what would have been the answer. Seppuku would have been the punishment for the crimes you've committed and the dishonor you've brought upon your clan. Tenchu doesn't turn around but relaxes his position a bit as he takes in what Banzan has to say. You're right, but what do you get out of this? You won. You beat me. Is watching me end it all just icing on the cake? Claim it's his dick. Banzan replies, hardly. I saw what you were meant to be when I studied the Odawara. The reputation was known even in my monastery. So seeing how far you've fallen from your promise, it's bothersome. Banzan approaches Tenchu, placing a hand on the metal shadow's shoulder. I'd rather see you become that which your clan envisioned you to be. I'd rather see you as the warrior you were meant to be. I can help, if you so choose. Tenchu lowers his head for a moment, contemplating the offer. He nods and stands to his feet. Good, your retraining begins now. Banzan and Tenchu leave the shrine, discussing what lies ahead, making sure to show the respect to the shrine. But out of the shadows, Kane Nightlord appears, and he watches the two, making sure that they don't notice his presence. Very, very interesting. I'm excited to see those two teams throw down now. Banzan wants to see Tenchu improve and become what he was supposed to be, while Kane Nightlord has got him a plan. Mac, good to see you. How you doing? All right. Ooh. Segment. Luke Storm, Simon. Restocking aisle 7. Boy, I wonder where we're going to end up here. We're at the supermarket. An all-out war going on in this once quaint grocery store. Wiz dukes it out with Pyre. Tag with Shaw, and Ether is trading blows with Zero. The front entrance dings as another man enters the fray. Grabbing his stomach and clenching his teeth, Luke Storm half runs, half limps towards the brawl. He leans against one of the shelves. He's taking a breather as he looks sick to his stomach. What the fuck is going on? Why am I still ding? Another man enters the store. Storm turns around, narrowly dodging a knee trembler from Simon. He rolls out of the way, stumbles to his feet, staring down the smirking Simon as the Taskmaster looks towards the fight. Having troubles again, Luke? Did the cure not work like you thought it would? Silly me. I suppose I only gave you a partial dose. Should keep you alive for now, though. That son of a bitch. He chuckles, walking up to Storm and grabbing him by the hair. Harsh headbutt drops him to a knee. Alive if I don't get done with you first. Simon reaches down to grab Luke, but gets a pickle jar to the dome. Simon stumbles back. Storm unleashes a lightning strike to the jaw. and gets knocked into a wall of crisps, whatever those are. He collapses down as Storm readies himself. We need a restock on aisle 7. We're running low on fucks to give. As we cut away, it is mayhem, bedlam inside the supermarket right now. As we go to a triple threat main event for two titles. The double feature championship and the world championship. The Sandman is the world champ. Israel Grimwolf is the double feature champ. Viper Roberts used to be the world champion. And we're going to see who holds those two titles at the end of this match. First fall is for double feature. Second fall is for world. I believe is how that goes. Here we go. For the first time in OSW history, double jeopardy is upon us. 2 championships, 3 competitors, and the chance to walk out holding gold on both shoulders. There can be, yes, one person winning 2 titles. Will the Terror of the Deep regain his world championship? Will the Dream Demon steal a double feature along the way? Or will the Head Snake sneak in and take everything away? Now, Zach, did you write this? If you wrote this, do I need to read the entrances? Because I'm not. Okay, no need for that. All right, they all come out. We got Black Sails. We got some good tunes. And there we go. Roberts gets in the ring. Yeah, Sandman's not even there. All right, so we get Roberts in the ring. Grimwolf's already entered. And Grimwolf rushes up with a lariat to the back of the head. Roberts crumples to the mat as Israel begins kicking the absolute shit out of him. The ref quickly calls for the bell for the premature start to this contest. Grimwolf pulls up the groggy Roberts, drills him with a pair of hard knees to the midsection before whipping him across the ring. Grimwolf drops down a little early, on an attempted backdrop though, allowing Roberts to nail a leaping knee lift to the jaw. Swinging neck breaker. Grimwolf is stunned as Roberts quickly pulls him back to his feet, looking to drive him back down to the mat. Ode 2. Israel slips out. Grimwolf slides back, nodding his head, before urging Roberts to come try that shit again, and the lights go out. Exit light. Here comes the Sandman. Here he is. The Dream Demon glides to the ring. Leaping lariat as he steps over the top rope. Leaping lariat from Grimwolf, who nails Sandman out of nowhere. Viper, Grimwolf put aside their fight to swarm the champ. They're beating the shit out of him. Kicks and stomps to the prone Dream Demon. Grimwolf pulls Sandman up as the two circle around, drilling him with lefts and rights, but a stiff headbutt from the Terror staggers back Sandman. Grimwolf lifts him up into the air by his legs as Robert grabs him by the head. Assisted, Ode to Snake, the elevated DDT. But neither man cover. They know they need a lot more than that to put down Sandman as Grimwolf pulls him up once more. The Goozle! The Sandman's got a lot more fight in him. Grimwolf struggles to escape, clawing at the Sandman's side before delivering hard rabbit punches to the ribs. But they barely affect the angry Sandman, who looks to plant Israel right through the damn mat. Belt around the throats. Viper's got that snake skin around Sandman's throat. He pulls him back forcibly, just enough to loosen the grip, as Grimwolf flips out, drilling the Dream Demon with a stiff kick to the jaw in the process. Sandman turns his attention to Roberts, pulling him in with the belt, but as he tries to goozle the head snake, he's keyhauled to the back of the head. Sandman is stunned. Robert pulls back the belt as he wraps it around his right hand. They both lift up the Dream Demon's arms. Dead Demon's chest, the double heart punch. That could well be it for Sandman, but as he collapses to the mat, Roberts tries to drop down for the cover, but he's pushed back by Grimwolf as they begin to argue about stealing the first fall. But they don't notice that Sandman sat up. The Dream Demon watches them argue, but he gets to one knee. He's got the bag of sand. It's his nuclear option, but it's not there. The Sandman frantically looks around, hands patting everywhere, while his eyes scan the entire canvas on where it could be before he looks up. at the shit-eating grin on Israel Grimwolf, who dangles the bag above Sandman's head. Looking for this, matey? And he throws the blue sand in the Sandman's face. Will it even affect the Dream Demon? The Sandman looks furious, quickly rushing to his feet as he grips Grimwolf by the throat. He goes for 2 sand, but Sandman's hand drops in midair. The paralyzing agent of the blue sand slowly sinks in. The Sandman drops to his knees, his muscles seizing up, as he's a helpless target for the 2 looming above him. Payback's a bitch, motherfucker, as the Sandman's getting a taste of his own sandy medicine. Grimwolf and Viper swarm the Sandman, absolutely brutalizing him with kicks and punches, lifting him up onto his feet. Keyhauled, the roaring elbow nearly breaks the Dream Demon's jaw. Roberts doesn't let him go down. Arms are around the neck. Snake bite. That could very well be it, but neither man want to just pin the Sandman here. They want to end him and make it a one-on-one contest. Roberts rolls out of the ring, looking under there for something as Grimwolf lifts up the limp Sandman, slowly pulling him up to the corner and up the ropes. What's he going for? Israel's got the Sandman up on the top rope as Roberts pulls out. Oh, it's a goddamn metal table. Roberts sets it up on the outside, climbing up to the apron. Grimwolf lifts the Sandman up. Double goozle chokeslam through the fucking table. By God, the Sandman has been broken in half. Both Grimwolf and Roberts look down at their handiwork and smile as Israel lifts up a hand for a high five from Roberts, which Viper looks at quizzically for a moment before slapping, but Israel doesn't let go of Roberts' hand. He smiles viciously, pulls him in, sickening headbutt, tosses him back in the ring the hard way, release belly to belly into the ring. Viper slowly pulls himself up as he just avoids a running knee to the jaw. He can't avoid the kick to the jaw as he rises before he's lifted up and double underhooked. Israel begins teeing off, knee after knee after knee to the unprotected skull. A leaping one stuns Viper before he's whipped around. Keyhauled, no! Roberts ducks under. He's grabbing his fallen belt. He spins around, but Israel catches the belt. Grimwolf winks at Viper. He pulls him into Keyhauled, the roaring elbow. It nearly breaks Roberts' jaw, but he doesn't let him fall. Israel peels back the arm. Dead man's no black sand. Roberts found the bag of sand. Grimwolf may as well be done here. He's blinded by the viscous sand. Grimwolf staggers around, swinging wild. Roberts easily ducks the blind strikes, peppering Israel with jabs and hooks. As he skips around the ring, giant knee to the jaw. The ode to Snake. Israel gets spiked into the mat. Viper with the first cover of the contest. 1, 2... But Israel kicks out. Viper pulls Grimwolf up to his feet. He's looking for the end, but he just gave Israel a solid target that he pays back with a massive headbutt. He rocks Viper before the terror grips Roberts in a headbutt. Bully choke. Grimwolf wraps both arms around Viper's throat, trying to choke the bastard out. As the head snake is trapped in the middle of the ring, without options, as the terror's looking murderous here, screaming at Viper to tap out. The head snake's arm wavers in the air, inches from the mat, and the lights go out. They flash back on. The Sandman's in the middle of the ring, and he's fucking pissed. Hard stomp to the head of Grimwolf breaks up the submission. Sandman peels Roberts up off the mat, throwing him damn near through the corner, before lifting up Grimwolf by his damn skull, delivering a brutal headbutt of his own before spiking him into the mat. With deep sleep, Roberts staggers out of the corner into a teeth-breaking big boot, the Dream Demon not letting Roberts hit the mat before he goozles him. Fingernails breaking skin from the sheer force as he lifts him up high into the air. 2 sand on Israel Grimwolf. The Sandman's not fucking around. He peels both men up the mat, rearing those dirty, razor-sharp fingernails as he looms down on both men. 80 winks. He eye gouges both of them. Israel and Viper screaming in pain, blood pouring down their faces as the Sandman smiles in absolute glee. He's going to town. He slams both men's skull to the mat over and over, driving them down as he holds them to the mat in a modified pinfall. 1, 2, 3. The first fall is over. New double feature champion, the Sandman, who beat the shit out of the 2 of them. Hot damn. Hot damn. Congratulations to the new double feature champion, but this match is not over. One more fall? One more fall for the World Championship. All right. The Sandman already has one championship. Can he retain the other and walk out a double champion? He still has both men down. He's keeping the count down. The ref's counting again. I said count a bunch of times. This match is too exciting. 1. Is he going to get it twice? 2. Can the Sandman pick up both championships here? No, they both kick out. And a kick to the dick. Both men kick up and drill the Sandman low. He may have no use for the dangly bits, at least we hope, but that hurts him all the same, as they manage to break the hold. Roberts is up first. He wipes the blood from his eyes as he rushes forward, right into a goozle around his throat. Snake oil, snake bite! The missed neckbreaker combination could very well have it here. Roberts tries to drop down for the cover, but there's a hand on his shoulder. Forearm shiver to the back of the neck. These little Sandys. Roberts rolls back. He shakes the cobwebs as he stares up at Grimwolf. The blood allows the black mist to fade away as the terror of the deep cracks his knuckles. Keyhauled, no! Viper dodges the elbow before trying for one of his own. Grimwolf catches it, spins Viper around. Big goddamn boot that had to crack a few teeth. As Roberts falls back, looking for a breather that Grimwolf ain't gonna give him. Roberts feigns running away, reaching deep into his side as he does. He pulls out a set of knuckle dusters. He whirls around. He tries to nail Grimwolf. Israel ducks under the roundhouse. He drops Roberts to the mat with a vicious headbutt. Viper crashes to the mat. He drops the knucks. He clambers for them, but a hard stomp to the hand. Grimwolf's got the knucks from the mat. Mighty fine treasure you got there, matey. Brutal right hand with the knucks to the side of Roberts' head. Shame I have to break them on your fucking face. Grimwolf pulls Roberts to his feet, nearly breaking his ribs with a series of uppercuts to the sternum. He throws him across the ring, right into a big boot from Sandman. Roberts, getting beat like a government mule. He crashes to the mat. Grimwolf, Sandman rush forward. Hard rights to the jaw that send them both staggering back. You call that a punch, Sandy? My grandma hit harder than that. Roberts rolls to his friend, running forward as he tries for snake oil again, but Grimwolf sidesteps it, delivering a brutal knockout blow to the side of the head, not taking his eyes away from the Sandman the entire time. Just as the Dream Demon smiles, delivering an almost mocking slow clap at the terror of the deep. Well, come on then, you fucking pansy. Hit me for real, why don't you? Both men rush forward once more. The Sandman looking for a big boot that Grimwolf slides under, rocking him with a brutal uppercut to the crown jewels, before kipping up and driving him to the mat. Sickening knuckle-infused keyhauled. Holy shit. The Sandman falls to the mat. Grimwolf stays on him. Stomp after stomp. 7 of them. 11, 15, 20, 27. Before Grimwolf rushes to the ropes at mock speed. Bouncing off, he goes high into the air. The curb stomp. 27 pieces of 8. That could be it there. But Grimwolf, he ain't done. He peels Sandman up off the mat, holds him by the back of his head before pummeling him. Absolutely pummeling him with brutal right after right. The Dream Demon's blood stains the steel knucks as Grimwolf's trying to knock the Sandman the fuck out right now. Another brutal uppercut nearly breaks the Sandman's jaw as he's lifted into the air. Powerbomb. A second. A third. It's Spirit of the Damn Sea. Sandman's dazed, hurt, and weakened. Grimwolf is a shark smelling blood. Ducking under a wild right, he circles around the Dream Demon. Hard right to the jaw, jab to the kidney, uppercut to the liver. Absolutely decimating the Sandman with dirty boxing here before pulling him down by his goddamn bandages. Delivering a sickening pair of silver uppercuts to the jaw. But Sandman manages to slip out, covered in blood, but as Israel tries to grab him once more, the Dream Demon spits out his own teeth in Grimwolf's eye. The terror stumbles back, blinded, as the Sandman rushes forward, looking for an almighty lariat. Dead man's chest. Grimwolf nailed the heart punch, out of nowhere, powered by the steel knuckles. That could well be it, but Israel knows it won't be. He needs to kill that bitch with fire. He peels the Sandman off the mat. He throws him to the corner before rushing forward. Stinger splash! Grimwolf drives the Sandman into the steel, quickly pulling him out of the corner as he lifts him up high, rushing forward to the other side of the ring. Buckle bomb! The Sandman dances with Jack Ketch. That's it. All Grimwolf has to do is covered. But before he can drop down, he's spun around. Snake oil! Motherfucking Viper Roberts is on his feet. He blinds Israel before taking him to Dick Kick City. Small package. 1. Not like this. Viper's hooking the tights. Has the head snake just stolen the world championship yet again? 3. There wasn't even a 2. The head snake rolls out of the ring. He's won. Viper Roberts is the new world champion. Viper Roberts, 2-time champion. He's stolen it right out of the clutches of Israel Grimwolf, who after all of that leaves Rust Out with nothing. Thanks to the absolute cunt Viper Roberts. Was there a 2? No, there wasn't a 2. I was right. That's okay. Sandman Nation demands a rematch. Yes, the 2 was muted. We missed the 2. Kevin Dunn just made a quick cut and we missed it. Oh man, new world champion. Congratulations. Congratulations. Thanks, Mac. GG's to you, Rob. Great work. All right. What is next? We're cruising. I think there's 2 segments left and then we'll be done. This show's went a little longer than I anticipated it would, but I guess an hour and a half's not too bad. Here we go. Clean up on aisle 8. We're back at the supermarket with Jet Set and BMF. Zach, that match was great. Here we go. Lambs to the Slaughter must have come early this year because it's pure pandemonium here tonight. Sean Simon, they've split off. Albie's laying into the Taskmaster with all he has. He bounces Simon's head off a freezer door. Pyre, come get your deadbeat, he yells. Shaw grabs Simon by the throat and slams him against the freezer. Pyre comes rushing in after knocking down Ether. Where the fuck were you for the honeymoon, shrimp dick? The fire bitch rears back with flames coming off of her. She hurls a fireball. Simon's only saved by Shaw pushing both of them out of the way to save himself. The fuck was that? Shaw says. Zero, tell the broad to watch it. Zero responds, learn to dodge, prison bitch. Zero takes his eyes off a tag for 1 second to quip at Shaw. Skateboard to the skull because of it. He's been truck fucked. Zero hits the ground. Here comes Ether skating fast as hell. Tag pops her up. Curb stomp. Fuck you in particular. That's the JSR. Kill it with fire. Zero is out. Meanwhile, Wiz has found Storm and he's laying into him with body blows. One after another. Storm's looking weak, but he vomits right into Wiz's face. Wiz is covered in bile. Yo, what the fuck was that? Lightning strike. Wiz gets clobbered through the puke. Storm collapses to a knee and watches as the other side of the store is set ablaze. Pyre is enraged. She's burning everything in sight. Shaw's ran to grab Luke as Pyre hurls flames at Tag and Ether. Ether says this bitch is trying to burn us like your mom's god-awful brisket. Hey, she tries, Tag says. Tag and Ether flee to seafood section as Pyre pursues. She leaps. Drop kick. Ether is set ablaze. She's made to stop, drop and roll. Pyre looks for Tag next. She's pissed off and ready to burn the whole store down. But a fire extinguisher to the face. Tag sprays Pyre with his white foam. It got in my fucking hair, she yells. The Catalan opening. Knee trembler by Simon. Pyre slams into a lobster tank. Ether is back up. Her and Simon, they pull it down on top of Pyre. Simon's wife is nice and wet and covered in crabs. Or lobsters. The trio goes to the other side of the store where Wiz is getting tossed around by Albie Shaw. The governor's laying into him with elbow shots. When he tosses him to the side, running headbutt. Tag gets a bloody nose as Shaw collides with him head first. Shaw with a wild haymaker that drops Simon. He's on a rampage, but Ether's just too fast. She skates circles around him and his swings just can't land. But then she stops and ducks. Peekaboo! Wiz flings a beer bottle that catches Shaw in the skull. Shades a dodgeball. The governor gets laid out. Only Storm is left, and he's barely standing. He's escaped to a nearby aisle, but Simon meets him there with a massive smirk. Storm puts up his fist, but Simon merely crosses his arms. Come on then, fuckface. Come get some. Simon pauses for a moment, merely grabbing the nearby intercom and speaking into it. Clean up, aisle 8. Storm looks up, spotting the number above his head before turning to see the entire shelving unit coming towards him. Oh, fuck me. Crash! Storm is crushed beneath the shelves. Jet Set Radio and Simon reconvene near the demolished aisle, looking at the still burning store as Simon nonchalantly grabs a chip can, popping it open. Well, we should get going. If there aren't police soon, there will definitely be firemen. Would anyone like a crisp? Wiz looks at Simon, raising an eyebrow. Why the fuck are you calling them that? Those are Pringles, my dude. Simon simply rolls his eyes, going to grab a chip, only to see the tube is now empty. A trail of crumbs left behind as Ether is the first to make her escape from the burning store. Jet Set Radio has beaten the shit out of the bad motherfuckers inside that poor grocery store somewhere in Hell's Kitchen. Oh, man. That store is definitely demolished. Clark did not write this. He did not. No, this is it was a trio of us that wrote these segments. But anyway, Jet Set Radio has gotten themselves one up on the bad motherfuckers. They whipped their ass, and we'll have to see what happens with them next. But as far as I know, I believe there's one more segment to come to close off this this show. And after all the fun and games, we return to the Butcher, Mr. Colin Cartwright, in a segment entitled The Meeting of the Minds. All right, who is meeting? Who are the minds who are meeting here? Let's find out. We're in heaven. The last time we were here, Rain warned the Butcher that he'd be casting a spell to bring him back to Earth. The Butcher said he had a plan, and now he walks up a picturesque driveway to a large mansion gate. As he approaches, the gate carefully and slowly opens, allowing him inside. He doesn't get too far before someone opens the door of the house and walks out to meet him. You won't know me, the Butcher says, but my name is... And we're met by a pristine, toothy white smile. Oh boy, who's it going to be? It belongs to an old-school wrestling favorite. It's the Chief. Nah, I know who you are, Big C. That surprises Colin. You do? Chief says, forgetting that I know every player in heaven, how could I not know the man who took over my precious OSW? That's why I'm here, the Butcher says. The Chief invites him to sit on a couple of chairs on the porch of his mansion. Death is coming for me, Butcher says. He sent a message that he's going to use a spell to pull me from heaven and bring me back to Earth. Chief responds, well, shit. That wasn't the response Colin was looking for, but the Chief clarifies. Look, man, the god's dead. This place doesn't have much in the way of leadership. To the war with hell and purgatory, heaven has only just gotten back to normal. There's not an angel here, including myself, with the juice to stop something like death. The Butcher slumps back in his chair, exasperated. So, I'm fucked? Chief says, if the spell works, then yeah. I'm sorry I couldn't help you, man. Death is the most powerful being anyone's ever heard of. If that motherfucker wants something, he's going to get it. The Butcher says, well, what can I do? Chief says, do what he wants, and hope that when he's finished with you, you come back home. They both stare off into the beautiful sunset, and the Butcher says, fuck, as we cut away and end Rust Out. The Butcher thought he had a plan. He thought that the Chief would be able to help him out, but he cannot. What a fun little show here, guys. Awesome work. Congrats to the winners. Great work to all the segment, creative, match writers, anyone who wrote anything for this show. Great work to Dean for putting this on. And I don't know when our next live show is, but come back whenever that happens. Thanks to everybody for coming out. I think I already said that. I tend to drone on and on in these closings, so I won't do that today. Let you guys get to your Sunday nights or Monday mornings, depending on where you are, or even Monday afternoon if you're Hayden. Thank you for the bit. All right, guys. Yeah, see, that works. Here's my alert. It works. Hey, my sound alerts work too. They didn't work last time. Awesome. All right, guys. I'm going to go ahead and shut this thing down. Glad I could host this for you guys. Congrats to everybody. And if you have anything to say it in the Discord chat. Love you guys. Peace.
Hello, darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk with you again.